It also helps to use fewer instances because scaling them up covers more of the terrain, so you don't have to use as many instances of the grass to actually cover an area, as well as helping, like I said, with the look of the silhouette, so everything doesn't look like it's all flat.
Watching castles fill the sky,
We are actually going to use a third type of grass when we start doing the Art Deco building down here. I have like a lawn grass, which looks more like a cut grass, that we're going to fill in on the lower sections down here, and that'll help blend that grass layer into our yard layer, I guess you'd call it. But we're not going to do the bottom through here until we actually place the Art Deco building, because I also want to paint in some like tiles, stone tiles for the outside of the building, and the best way to do that is to wait till I place the building, so we know where we want to paint the rest of the texture in, as well as the grass. Okay, we're almost back around. I know it can look a bit painful doing it this way, guys, like I said, but it's going to give you the most natural looking grass just by going through and scaling up just a couple here and there. The reason it's taking us a while is because we've got quite a large landscape going on here. Once we have our grass painted, scaled up correctly, then we're going to paint in some flowering bushes here and there throughout the forest. That'll just help to add a bit more colour. Hey Dan, I'm working on an Art Deco building. What we're doing is we're doing the forested landscape, the outer landscape. We're going to have an Art Deco building sitting in here. So we're going to be taking this Art Deco building into Unreal, and we're going to do a fly-through cinematic of the interior and exterior of this building sitting in this landscape we've got going on here. Once we finish adding the rest of our trees and things to it. So that's what I'm working on. Art Deco building in Unreal, interior and exterior, cinematic. At the moment we're just making sure that our grass is looking right, so I'm just scaling up a few here and there to make the silhouette of the grass look a bit more interesting. Thank you. Hopefully once we get everything in place it will look okay. Like I said, it can be a bit painful, guys, I know, watching me scaling up some individual sections of grass, but it's important to get that silhouette looking more natural so that your grass doesn't all look level. You've got some that are growing larger than others. It really helps to sell the realism of the grass, because these hills are not going to have cut grass. When we place the grass down here in the actual garden, that grass is all pretty flat, but the grass on the hills is going to be growing at all different sizes. So, and as you saw, even though I have my my grass here set to different heights, when I did the initial paint, it still doesn't give you enough variation. And it's still better, I think, to come in and do it just here and there by hand. The grass is the worst because there's so much of it to do this sort of manual scaling on. We are almost back there though, so we're nearly done. Nearly done with the grass. Again, I'm just using a couple of these grasses in the background to break up that silhouette line, just in these more open areas. Alright, looks like we're back to the beginning here. It's just the ones at the front that I need to do. Alright. Hey Sniper Echo, good to see you. thanks for popping in and popping into chat to say hi. We're just doing some of our grass sections here at the moment before we start doing some of our flowering bushes amongst the trees. So again, these more open areas, I'm just going in and making sure a couple of these grass clumps are a bit bigger than the others. And it's really only these open areas where it's more useful. Hidden amongst the trees, it's never going to be seen, but in these open areas, I do want to make sure some of the grass is a bit high. Alright. Let's maybe start painting in some of the flowering bushes, because remember when we did this other side, where are we? We have these flowering bushes throughout the level. Difficult to see here because of the lighting at the moment, but these flowering bushes. So let's paint them in. So I'm going to select my snakeweed cluster, I think that's the one it's called. Make sure my grass is turned off. Everything else is still turned off. Yep. Go back to our paint. Now it's difficult to see here because the texture is showing up a little dark. Not sure why that is. Maybe because the lighting needs to be rebuilt, but these are actually a bright yellow. Let me just jump into my foliage here and check the light map on that. Because these are actually the flowers I'm painting in. You see they're quite yellow. 16. I'll leave it at 16, but if they don't, when I do a lighting rebuild, if they don't rebuild correctly, I may have to up my light map density. We'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm just going to go through and paint bunches of these here and there. Again, I'm mainly concerned with the front here. I'm less concerned with painting them through the back of the forest because we're never going to see back there. It looks like it's just a shadowing. If I look here, you can see that they're coming up yellow. It's just because that's in shade on that part of the terrain. Anyway, let's go back to painting in our flowers here. I want to view through the front here because our camera is going to start through the front, so I want to make sure that we have it built in quite well through here. Without going too overboard, I could go nuts with these flowering trees, but it's not. Alright, I'm just going to check what else we have here. Cattail, no. Yes. Right, I'm just going to jump out of our landscape mode now. The foliage mode, painting mode. And just check that I haven't gone too nuts with these flowering bushes. Going to compare it to the opposite side. I may have gone a little nuts. What I'm going to do is go back into foliage mode and staying in the paint tool. I'm just going to hold down the shift key just to remove some here and there. Just lifting them out a bit. I want to keep the look consistent with the opposite side we did yesterday. Alright. Now I'll jump out of foliage mode. I'm just going to look at our overall landscape here. And check that there's nothing I've forgotten to add. I don't think there is. So we have our shorter grass, our longer grass, our flowering bushes. I was thinking about putting a dead tree through here because we have this little bit of an open area, and a fallen dead tree could look interesting. Let's have a look at that. So let's, we're in our foliage. I have two types of dead trees. I have the ones that we've got here in our forest, and I've also got this type that I placed in our pond, which is this one here. I think I may use this one. It looks like it's a little older. Most of the twigs have fallen off of it, so I think it makes a better dead tree. So let's place one back in this little opening here, and that will be this one here. I'm going to drag that in, and we will rotate it so it looks like it's fallen on its side. Let's rotate it that, and let's see if we can get an interesting looking branch grouping, maybe like that. I'm going to push it in. Rotate it forward a little bit, I think. Maybe down a little bit more. I think I'll scale it up too. Let's rotate it around. I'm just checking to see if it looks like it's lying on the ground correctly. I think I may just pull it back a bit, back into the landscape. I don't like the look of that trunk there on the end though, so what I'm going to do is I think what we might do is just grab one of these snakeweed trees, bush groupings, And I'm just going to place it in front of that dead trunk to make it look, to hide it a bit. So, because this tree was never really designed to be used this way. It was meant to be sticking in the ground, but I want it to look like a dead tree that's fallen over. So, all right, let's go back around to this other open section through here. And let's use a dead tree, but let's use one of the other trees that we've got. So I've got, let's try this one. We'll do the same thing, we'll rotate it. I'm just going to look for a nice looking angle on it. Move it up. Let's move it back in here. Again, it just makes it look, even though it's a tree that's fallen over, it just gives it the ground a little bit more interest. Most of the tree is actually hidden inside the terrain. But again, it just helps to break up that empty area. Sniper Echo says, you know, I'd make a decent environment artist. Well, that's nice of you to say, dude. You know I was an environment artist. When I worked in games, and even when I've done cinema work, I've always specialised in doing environment work. And yeah, so I was an environment artist when I worked in games development, and a technical artist. So, all right. So that dead tree here just helps to break up that empty area we've got going on there. I'm just going to look around our landscape here to see if there's any other areas that look like they could benefit from having something different added to them. We do have those bushes as well, actually. Remember the elderberry that we were using yesterday? We could use some of those actually in here as well. Cool. Let's grab one of those elderberry trees. Let's go with the black elderberry because it has a nice burgundy red colour. Let's scale it up. And we'll move this one back a bit further. Again, we're going to make sure we pull it up. I'm just going to pull back and judge our size here. I'm going to make it a bit bigger, I think. Again, these aren't meant to be really large. These elderberry bushes are only meant to be about the size of a person. But there's nothing to say that we can't make them bigger here for our world. I mean, you know, why not? You have to be careful of that sort of thing. If you were making a game here and the player's going to be running through, you don't, because the more you scale it up, the bigger the leaves are going to become, and you don't want to make them look unnatural. That's all. Okay, let's throw one of the green elderberries in as well. So, where is it? This one here. We're going to scale it up as well. Might make this one a bit bigger. And let's move it a bit further back. And we'll drop it down into the ground to make sure it's not floating in the air. In fact, we're going to scale it up just a bit more. I want it to be a bit higher than the red one we placed. So that's filled in that little open area quite well. Let's move along and make sure there are no other areas that need just a bit of a touch-up. I like the look that we see going back into the forest here to our dead tree. You see how we have this, we can see in behind it. We have an open area behind it, which just helps to add depth to the forest. So I'm not going to place anything there to cover that up. I'm just looking around though to see if there are any areas that need a bit of a touch up. Look at our rock here, and that's showing up quite well, so we won't cover that up. Okay, we could probably do something with just the area in front of this rock as well. Again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the elderberry bushes. Because I do like the colour. It helps to break up all the green and yellow. I want to avoid covering the rocks completely though. I'll keep moving around. We can see again we have that depth happening through here to our rocks in the background. I just need to, I think, add a bit more grass through here. I just missed a spot. You could do with some grass, so let's just jump back into our grass again quickly. There we go. Just want to cover that up a bit. May just paint a bit more through there as well. Yeah, so I like the depth that we've got happening through our trees here back to our rocks. I probably won't cover that up. Through here though, I think maybe we could do with another elderberry bush, but instead of using the red one, let's go with the green one. And this just helps to break it up from looking like all trees and all grass type thing. Let's push that back a bit. And it has a nice white flower on it too, which again helps to break up the colour. Alright. And again, I'm just looking down in here and I think we need some more grass just down behind these rocks here. So I'm just going to paint in a little bit more grass through here. Just over here as well, I'm noticing those hills look a bit white. There we go. Alright, let's turn on our environmental height fog so we can get a better idea of what it's going to look like. Exponential height fog, I should say. It just helps to add a bit more atmosphere to the scene. Let's just have a look at our environment here. Again, we have everything moving in the wind. Now we are going to have to adjust our fog, but I want to wait until we get a bit more going on in the middle before I start fine-tuning the actual fog values. I'm mainly concerned at this stage to look at the forest to make sure it looks correct. There's nothing that stands out that looks weird. I still may have to cut back on some of these yellow flowering bushes. Again, we'll wait a little while. I'll have a look at it and decide whether I think it needs to be cut back a bit. So we have our nice God rays happening from our sunset, illuminating our forest in the background. It helps to actually, the exponential height fog can really add a lot of realism to the scene because it helps to break up the layers we've got going on in our forest. Alright, I think we're pretty good. I think that should be good. We may leave it there for today, guys. I do want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with me and watching while we did our forested area here. We'll continue doing some work on this tomorrow. I'll be back on again at 5 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So we'll continue our forest then. Like I said, I do want to thank you guys very much for hanging out and for watching. Remember, I do post 10 minutes. I post on my Twitter page at PhilDoes3D when I'm live. So when my post goes up, the 10-minute countdown is on. I will be back on again, like I said, tomorrow though, so we can continue working on this then. Thank you, Sniper Echo, for popping in and popping into chat and saying hi. And thank you, Dan, as well, popping in. You're quite welcome, Sniper Echo. Thank you for watching. And thank you all you guys, like I said, for hanging out with me and for watching. I will be back on again tomorrow at 5 p.m. and we'll continue doing some work on our landscape here for our Art Deco building. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.